How's it going, my peeps? This is the prediction game video for the Rey Mysterio versus The Miz match for the IC title, a match you're going to see this Sunday at SummerSlam. Like I said in the official prediction game video, my pick for this match is The Miz. I think he's going to win, although I could see a win from Rey Mysterio. And just looking at this footage, looking at this gameplay recorded, it looks like I forgot to use the actual IC title they're currently using on TV, the classic IC title. Instead, I used the IC title they had before Cody Rhodes brought back that, new or old Intercontinental Championship. But whatever, it's no big deal. But I did update The Miz's attire for SummerSlam. As you can see, he has some black trunks, black boots, everything black with red on top. That's the attire he had on Raw. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the same hairstyle, but, I don't think I need to download the created character of The Miz with his current hairstyle just because of the slight change in hair there. But anyways, let's talk about this match here. So, Rey Mysterio just came back not too long ago from his suspension, or storyline-wise from his injury or attack from Del Rio, who took him out for this entire time. Keep in mind, I'm talking storyline-wise here. And then he comes back, he attacks Del Rio, which led me to believe that maybe he's gonna have a program with Del Rio to seek redemption, so he could, defeat Del Rio, get his revenge, since Del Rio was the one to take him out. But instead, Del Rio resumed his duties, I guess, with Sheamus challenging him for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Rey Mysterio kind of forgot about Del Rio and focused on other things. So, that was kind of unexpected. I think a lot of people did expect Rey Mysterio to have a program with Del Rio coming back. I was hoping for that, just because that way Sheamus would have another opponent instead of Del Rio. He'd be facing somebody else, maybe a Christian, although after watching Raw and the way Damien Sandow easily defeated Christian, I don't think Christian was ever the plan to face Sheamus at SummerSlam. But yeah, so Rey Mysterio forgets about Del Rio, and he has these, some couple matches on Raw. Really, no real storyline for Rey Mysterio until just recently, I guess, when he faced The Miz on SmackDown in a non-title match. He beat The Miz in that non-title match, which leads me to believe that's the reason why they give him this title shot against The Miz at SummerSlam. So Rey Mysterio, the guy that is on his second suspension, is actually on the SummerSlam pay-per-view, which I'm not surprised of. It is Rey Mysterio, and I'm glad he's on the SummerSlam card. Rey Mysterio, is just great in the ring. But anyways, what I find interesting here is that Rey Mysterio is on the SummerSlam card. Rey Mysterio, the guy that is on his second suspension. If he gets suspended one more time, he's fired. But Randy Orton, who's also on his second suspension and, the same situation as Rey Mysterio, is actually not on the SummerSlam card. So Rey, he's in this title match in his first pay-per-view back, while Randy's nowhere to be seen. But at the same time, it's not like Randy's, been losing matches since returning. It's not like they're really punishing him. Well, actually, maybe some people could say that they're punishing him by not putting him on the SummerSlam pay-per-view, and that would be a good point, actually, since it is, SummerSlam. It's one of their biggest pay-per-views, but I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Randy makes an appearance at SummerSlam, maybe attacks somebody. Well, not attack somebody, but maybe somebody makes an open challenge, he answers it, and wins the match, or, gets involved somehow at SummerSlam. I was thinking that, Randy was going to be in the World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam. He was going to return after his suspension, a couple weeks before SummerSlam, which he did. And I was thinking maybe they were going to quickly put him in the program against Sheamus despite his suspension. But no, that did not happen. But it's not like Randy, like I said, is losing a lot of matches. He's been winning matches on SmackDown and stuff. He beat Daniel Bryan, he beat Del Rio, who is the #1 contender for Sheamus' championship. So, yeah, and as far as Rey Mysterio goes, well, he did lose to CM Punk, but at the same time, it is CM Punk, he's the WWE champion, but he did lose clean to CM Punk, who is slowly turning heel. So you could view that however you want. And with this whole thing where Rey Mysterio is coming back from, like, I don't know, a 6-month absence or something like that, it's been a long time, and now he gets a title shot. Well, you can see it both ways. One way is, he's gonna lose this match. They're gonna punish him, or not necessarily punish him, but they're not gonna have him win a championship after getting suspended for a second time, basically rewarding him for getting suspended. Or what could happen is Rey Mysterio comes back, from this long time off, and to make his return successful, suspension or not, he wins the Intercontinental Championship, so it's a successful return. Rey Mysterio coming back from injury, big face coming back from injury and capturing the IC title. He's captured, the IC title in the past, the Intercontinental Championship. He's beaten Jericho for it, and he also beat JBL for it. I think JBL was he beat JBL first for the IC title, and then Jericho beat Rey Mysterio for the IC title, but Rey Mysterio won it back at the next pay-per-view. And Rey Mysterio as IC champion before, it wasn't that bad. He had some great matches, great matches, so it was actually a good IC title reign, I'd say. I don't really recall, his championship reigns as IC champion to be very long reigns. And although I am a fan of, very long championship reigns, that doesn't mean that a championship reign has to be a long one for it to be good. Actually, Rey Mysterio didn't hold the championship for that long in both of his runs as IC champion, all these great matches during that reign, so that alone made his reign pretty damn good, despite the length of the reign. And really, once Rey Mysterio held a singles championship for, a decent amount of time, for a long time, never really, whenever Rey Mysterio wins a singles title, he holds on to it for, a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, and sometimes, even shorter. I mean, look at the WWE Championship reign he had. He won the championship, off The Miz, the same guy he's facing this Sunday, and then he lost it that same night against another top face in John Cena. And as far as his World Heavyweight Championship reigns, well, both his World Heavyweight Championship reigns were pretty short, and his World Championship reign was definitely not as good as his IC title reign. Rey Mysterio as World Champion, he lost, a bunch of matches. I remember they had this, on SmackDown, they had Rey Mysterio facing all these giants for a couple of weeks, and he lost every single one of those matches. He faced Kane, and then he faced Great Khali, Big Show, as the champion, and he lost every single one of those matches. Although it does make sense to have Rey Mysterio lose against Kane, Khali, and all those guys. But why even book Rey Mysterio in the matches against these guys when he's a champion and you want to make him look strong, I guess. But anyways, I think I've rambled on too much about Rey Mysterio's past reigns here. So, Rey Mysterio, what are his chances of winning the IC title this Sunday? I'd say he has a decent chance, like I said, I could see Rey Mysterio maybe winning the championship so he could have a successful return after all this time off and being injured. The good guy comes back and wins a title. Or Rey Mysterio loses, the championship match because The Miz just won the championship and he's in need of a big win, and a win over Rey Mysterio would do just that because The Miz right now, his win-loss record since, winning the championship hasn't been so good. So, The Miz definitely needs that big win, and keeping the championship on The Miz for a good while where he defends the championship against top mid-carders, I think would put him back in that main event scene after that long losing streak he had. So anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm still sticking with The Miz winning this match, and if you enjoyed this video, you can click that like button. I really appreciate it. With that said, I'm out. See ya.